Hi, everyone. It's time for another message from Melissa. And this month, I wanted to talk about facing pressure in your business. This is inspired by the fact that I've been watching an outrageous amount of Olympic coverage over the last week. I've been staying up all hours of the night. Maybe you can see it in my eyes. I have been watching every sport I can get my hands on, even some that I don't really understand, I've been watching. And something that I've been thinking about a lot is how much pressure the athletes have, because in this moment that they've worked so hard for such a long time, they're either going to succeed or maybe they'll fail. And that's a lot to deal with going into their performance. And I thought about how that really does translate to some of these moments we have as business owners when you're about to encounter something that could either make or what you think maybe break your business. It could be that you're serving a customer who's a really big deal customer who could spread a lot of great word of mouth. It could be that you're pitching to somebody that you think might say yes or no, and it could make a really big difference for you. In my business, what tends to happen is if I'm doing a huge speaking engagement or a conference or something like that, it can be stressful, because if I don't know who's in the room, there could be somebody in that room who hears me speak that day who can make all the difference in the world for my business. So I have found that that is the type of situation that I might get into that can be a more stressful one, a more pressure filled one for me. And what are some of the things that I do to deal with that? Let's start there. And then I want to hear from you and hear what you do to deal with pressure situations. The first thing that I will do is prepare. As a former gymnast, we were always prepared. We were always thinking about what else we could prepare to be ready for the situation ahead. So I do the same thing for, let's say, a speaking engagement. I make sure that my slide deck is really crisp and precise. I make sure that I know the material well, that I potentially have practiced it a bunch of times to make sure that the timing of it works out, because I usually have a specific window of timing to deliver the material that I have. So I want to make sure that I've done it a few times and that it fits within that time that's been allotted to me. I also, if I'm going to be at a conference, I might try to do some research on who's going to be in the room, so I get a sense of who do I really need to talk to while I'm there, or what type of examples do I need to give that may be relevant for this audience? So those are some of the things that I would do to be ready for the speaking engagement ahead. Now, when I'm far out from the event, I probably will feel little waves of anxiety or pressure that come up. And I try to deep breathe through those moments so that I can release it, because I don't need that anxiety in that moment. I don't need to feel that pressure or that stress in that moment. And I want to make sure I'm not just sitting in that for a long time. So deep breathing is something I'll do a lot of. And also just sort of reminding myself, you know what, you prepared for this and it's 2 weeks away. Don't worry about this right now. So I can try to defer those feelings. And once I hit the day of, I'm usually able to tap into a performance version of myself. It's a different version of me that comes out as soon as I'm ready to take to the stage or take to the podium or take to the mic, whatever it is I'm taking to. There's a different version of me that comes out that is able to perform through that moment. And I'm able to tap into that and make sure that I do my best possible. So those are a few things that I do to try to cope with pressure in that side of my business. But I'd love to hear from you. What are the techniques that you've come up with over the years to cope with pressure? What things do you do in the moment? Maybe what things do you do beforehand? I'd love to hear more about the techniques that you've come up with. Maybe they'll be useful to me, or maybe they'll be useful to somebody else who's listening in. So feel free to share what your experiences have been and what you like to do to handle stressful or pressure-filled moments in your business. In the meantime, good luck and happy marketing.